Hello, our dear football lovers! The Inside Football channel is with you. Today, we are gonna visit the great region of Catalonia. We've been wondering, how are Barcelona doing there? The team spent the whole season without Lionel Messi. Club president Joan Laporta is trying with all his might to get the Blaugrana out of the financial crisis. And Xavi is improving his philosophy on the coaching level. As for the current summer campaign, Barcelona are expected to undergo serious restructuring. According to Spanish media, Xavi is set to say goodbye to 10 players from the main roster, whom he doesn't see within the team. At the same time, Laporta is going to resign some of the current performers. The club even got to hold salary cap talks. Someone will have to cut their payments almost in half to fit in. But these actions will help save the Catalans and sign newcomers, who will be necessary for building a team with a top-notch quality. In this video, we are going to discuss all changes that await Barca in between seasons and present you the supposed lineup. Who will eventually represent the club at the new season's kick-off? We are soon to find out. But before we dive into the matter, don't forget to subscribe to our initiative and press the bell button so you won't miss the latest videos. Ready? Then let's get going! Firstly, we need to find out how Barca are managing their financial affairs. Here's what Joan Laporta says now. When we arrived over a year ago, the club was in a terminal financial situation. We have restructured our debt, we have saved on financial costs, we have controlled our expenditure, and we have increased our revenue. If these financial operations are approved by our Socios members, it'll be good news for us. We will balance our books sooner than we expected. Barca have been working all year long to diminish the bloated payroll. Under the previous management, spending on players has become unbearably huge, and lots of money was often received by those who did not bring any good for the squad, just sitting on the bench. Luckily, the pay cut is slowly helping to recreate the situation at Barca. According to Laporta, the team's captains agreed to reduce their incomes. The media also highlights the management's intentions to introduce a salary cap. Each footballer will earn no more than 10 million euros a year net. These are conditions for the top performers, while it's planned to introduce a middle class and in fact the smallest deals, which are for young people and completely novice names. What an interesting suggestion! As we've mentioned, selling and getting rid of some players will certainly help to unload the payroll. The management can put into a transfer list a number of players who, in their opinion, will not be useful for various reasons. By the way, the guys that Barca are going to sell would make an entire squad. Just take a look. We've already heard of the first one out. For example, Ferran Jutgla moved to Club Brugge for 5 million euros. The biggest name that can jump Barca's ship this summer is Franck de Jong. The footballer is actively being associated with Manchester United, and this deal is estimated at 60 to 100 million euros. Frankie, by the way, would not really like the idea of leaving. Unfortunately, the reason behind the ambiguity of the Dutchman's potential departure purely lays upon economic factors. This year, de Jong's salary reaches a new level, 19 million euros. He doesn't fit the cap, can still bring good money, and there is enough talent in the midfield area. Trincao will return from the loan to the club, but he is unlikely to stay at Barcelona. Valencia, Benfica and Sporting are competing for him. Ousmane Dembele doesn't sign the proposed new contract, thus might wait to be shown the exit door soon. Chelsea are favorites to sign the troubled winger. Thomas Tuchel really wants to work alongside his former ward. Memphis Depay can also leave if there would be an offer for him worth at least 20 million euros. Xavi also did not include Martin Braithwaite in his plans. Work on the Dane's departure is being carried out, despite the resistance of the footballer himself. As Abde might serve as a great option for making some money. His price tag is an estimated 8 million euros. Nico Gonzalez should move on loan to get more playing minutes and progress further. Neto is actively looking for a new challenge. Umtiti agrees to spend the next season on loan. There is an interest from La Liga clubs for Mingueza. Tottenham, Porto and Roma are eyeing Lenglet. Ricky Puig goes for extending the contract for a season and go on loan. Adama Traore and Luke de Jong will return to their clubs, as their agreements will not be bought out. The future of Dani Alves has not yet been revealed yet. He can either extend the contract for 6 months or quit. Besides, the management of Barca may consider the sale of Aubameyang in case the Blaugrana gets Lewandowski to their ranks. Haven't you forgotten Miralem Pjanic and Antoine Griezmann also being under contract at Barca? The Bosnian is already actively seeking a club. It could presumably be Marseille or Napoli. The Frenchman will continue his path at Atletico Madrid. This will be a loan extension for 1 more season with a buyout option of 40 million euros. So, Barcelona have already taken 2 free agents abroad, Franck and Andreas Christensen. Negotiations are underway with Chelsea for Marcos Alonso and Cesar Azpilicueta. Nevertheless, there are difficulties with registration of transfer affairs. Barca need to provide revenue growth in order to get approval for newbies from the regulatory officials. Will we see Robert Lewandowski at Barcelona? It seems that he is serious about his desire and has already severed all ties with Bayern. Munich representatives are still opposed to making it happen, though already looking for a replacement for the Pole. Mane and Kalajdzic are aimed to compensate Lewandowski's absence. The Catalans are working to ease the club's financial condition and only then will make a bid to Bayern, who are to demand at least 40 million euros. Interestingly enough, Barca will be ready to pay this amount. In order to make a step closer to Catalonia, Robert agreed to a 3-time salary cut and will receive 9 million euros per season at the Camp Nou as a result. By the way, a 3-year deal has already been agreed with the forward. According to journalist and insider Gerard Moreno, Bernardo Silva would like to find himself at Barca too, but everything will depend on the economic situation. At the moment, this scenario seems unrealistic, given that Man City will ask for at least 100 million euros for one of their leaders. Wolverhampton's Ruben Neves is another unrealistic contender as Bernardo's. At least 80 million euros will be demanded for the Portuguese midfielder. Maybe Di Maria will be given a chance. A free transfer, a 1-year contract, and a great attacker for Xavi. Angel recently snubbed Juve and dreams of Camp Nou with all his heart. A great low-cost alternative to strengthen the midfield area can be found in İlkay Gündoğan, who's left only a year in his contract with the Sky Blues and is open to take on a new career challenge. Kalajdzic Koulibaly could offer great variability to Barcelona. The Senegalese has only 1 year left on his deal with Napoli, who would want to sell the player for no less than 40 million euros. But if we compare the magnitudes of Koulibaly and Lewandowski, it becomes obvious where Barca are investing money. Moreover, there is one more guy whom the Catalans desperately need for the upcoming season. Raphinha from Leeds is a direct replacement for Ousmane Dembele, but the transfer of this Brazilian winger might be very expensive to pull off, at least 55 million euros. Raphinha needs Barca, Barca needs Raphinha. These will be among transfer sagas that we will closely follow. Yes, there are miracles to believe, since the Blaugrana are in constant search of strong dribblers like Ousmane Dembele. There are practically no players alike in the roster. Now let's think of a more or less realistic dream team for Xavi. At the goal we have Ter Stegen, backed by Iñaki Peña as a sub. On the right in defense, we expect to see Cesar Azpilicueta with Dest as a substitute. There should be changes in the center of defense. Sadly, no prospects for Piqué as a starter due to more frequent injuries. So Xavi will count on Araujo or Christensen, plus Eric Garcia and Piqué as subs. Jordi Alba takes place on the left in defense, with possible substitutions in the person of Marcos Alonso or Balde. Moving on to the midfield area. No changes for Busquets there, and if Barca still sells Frankie, then either a direct replacement for Sergio will have to be found on the transfer market or pick Sergio Roberto or Dani Alves. These guys have enough experience to close the gap. Pedri and Gavi are to stay where they've been at the first team, while Kessie, Di Maria and Gündoğan are supposed to compete with them. Now to the attacking line. Raphinha will begin his spell as right winger with Ferran Torres and Di Maria for alternatives. Robert Lewandowski should be in the center, otherwise it'll be very difficult for Barca to race for trophies in the upcoming campaign. Ferran, Depay or Aubameyang can become a plan B instead of the pole. Ansu Fati will definitely be on the left in the attack. If the Spaniard doesn't have problems with health, Ferran, Depay or the same Di Maria should be considered substitutes. And this was our version of the roster. To us, it looks rather admirable on paper. Press like if you agree with our thoughts. What do you think of it? Let us know in the comments below your own version on Barca's starting 11 for the next season. Of course, we would like to see Barcelona in the full force, because why not? It's much more interesting to see how they improve. And that was Inside Football. We watch football from a different angle. Have a nice one, and see you in a bit.